so I'm gonna pick one for him. And I like, I'm going to go with Raphael. You know why? Because I like telling really bad jokes because I love size. Alright. Alright, we are all set up here, and I will let Khanster and his couch count down and do their thing.
You want me to count me down?
Sure thing. All right, everybody, this is Khanster786. I'm Rock617. Khanster's going to pick Raphael right about when you're ready. We're going to go ahead and mash through this opening cutscene. Right past the Big Apple. And time's going to start at 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so first thing you're going to notice about this game, it is obviously a beat-em-up, one of the more well-known, certainly, that I've ever given the time of day to. More so than most beat-em-ups I've played, movement in this game is huge. You have a dash that you can do manually with proper option settings, which opens you up to a lot larger moveset, and that's really, really good for Raph, because Raph is the most powerful character in the game as long as he's running. The other turtles really can't hold a candle to him in that regard. But by running, you're increasing your movement speed, and as I mentioned with Raph, you're doing a ton more damage. The move you're going to be seeing the most of is, for offense, is this flying kick he does out of the dash, which does a whopping 16 damage. And that's enough to kill about half the foot soldiers you're going to see in this game. The other move you're seeing, that spin kick, does the same amount of damage from a standing position, but it also drains his health, which is both good and bad because it puts you in an element of danger in that, you know, the game can actually just kill you if you make a mistake. Upside is that at the end of each stage, the game counts down your health, which will save frames if you're low on health enough if you use enough specials. So our first boss, we have Baxter. Got Khanster going to be setting him up for this little loop here where he keeps hitting him with what I refer to as the fall slash. I've also called it things like the axe handle. He's going to kick him over to the side, and the reason you kick him over to the left is because Baxter has to motion his way up there to explode and fly off the building. So it's just always optimal to kick him off to the left. Very good first stage. This will bring us on to Alley Cat Blues. One of my favorite songs in this game, for sure. The song is awesome. Of course, the whole soundtrack's just fantastic. It's one of the best from Konami ever, I think. See a little bit of use of the throw there. The throw is pretty cool. The two different throws. You have the slam, which is really good at crowd control. Gets every enemy out of your way. And then you also have the screen throw, which will be much more important later, but in terms of just killing single targets, it's actually really solid. That was unfortunate. A little bit of bad wake-up action there. But yeah, anyway, the screen throw insta-kills foot soldiers as soon as it throws them to the screen, which, while not good for clearing out the crowd, can be good for taking out the last foot soldier in a given section. Nice little segment here. I've always loved this part. You can utilize either the throw or well-timed dash kicks to be able to kill these foot soldiers. Now, with some of these guys, you can't kill them with one dash kick. The orange guys are a perfect example. If you're going to see a lot of is just a standard hit followed then by a dash. Nice work on the Rodney there. A little bit of pizza power to give us some invincibility. Always useful. Bust open the fire hydrant. Speaking of manhole. A couple more enemies to take care of here before we move on to our boss. Nunchuck guys tend to have some really weird health. It seems like they have low health, but a dash kick also doesn't kill them. This is going to be cool. For Metalhead, we're going to be seeing a lot of dash special here right from the launch, which does a ton of hits. I think you get 3 hits per, and we're throwing in some standing spin specials because that, for one, drains his health down to 1 like it shows there. And I think that's the only reason, because that dash special does more damage in a given amount of time than that would. On to Sewer Surfing. Sewer Surfing is the first of 2 what this game calls bonus stages, but I think it's kind of erroneous to call them bonus stages simply because they're still stages. Like, you actually still have to play them, and they both still have bosses. And the reason they're bonus stages is because for each enemy you kill, you get double points at the end of it. But our goal here is to not kill any enemies because we don't want it counting down frames for additional points at the end of the stage. What you're going to see is a lot of bottom left action, where Khanster's going to be kind of just chilling out, spinning his weapon, pressing buttons occasionally. Quick trivial fact that Khanster will not be using today, there is a wrong warp in this game that saves a significant amount of time that he's not going to be using. It would require the input of a second controller to be used here. But Khanster prefers the classic route, and I can respect that. You get to do some really cool stuff with that route that you can't with the wrong warp. You can tell what's special here. The spin kick is completely invincible, so doing it over those spiked obstacles is quite nice to have. They just can't interact with you at all as long as you're doing that. No big deal for the pizza monsters here. All you have to do is just dodge them. It's an auto scroll, so a couple more left. Now he also won't be picking up any pizzas, which is important because if he had taken damage, he would have had to pick up a pizza in order to be able to retain his full health, because you need full health going to this boss in order to get an optimal kill. Here we move on to what I think is the easiest boss in the game. Rat King's pretty simple. Piloting what's called a foot ski. You're going to get 5 basic hits. He's going to move on and do some spike balls of his own, and 5 specials later and he's down. Which is great because now he has 1 health. And it takes no time at all to count that down, so we save some frames. Great stage. Cool little clipped out cutscene of the Technodrome there. So in most speedruns, you don't even get to see this stage that much because this is where the wrong warp would occur. But in Khanster's case, he's going to be doing some really cool strats on making sure some of these enemies get taken care of. Lots of throw slams for crowd control. Mousers, I also believe, are best taken care of with the slam. Trying to actually hit them can be a real pain because they're so tiny. Like, you can hit them with any of the same attacks you'd use on a foot soldier, but they're a lot more evasive. Like, they just have really, really good movement speed, and they're very fast moving vertically. Whereas if you're just slamming enemies, they tend to start getting aggressive for some reason, because I guess they want you to stop picking on their friend. And then they just get hit. Good stuff there. Got the pizza, that way we can make sure we're maintaining health to be able to do more specials. And really, to me, that's the only use of health in this game, is to make sure you have enough health to be able to do specials later on in a given stage. Yeah, I didn't know if he was going to get the pizza power or not. Finished off a couple more foot soldiers. Now for this boss fight, this is our first duo boss fight. This is Toka and Rezar. Has a really cool quick kill associated with it, which is going to go a little something like this, I hope. Ah, missed it. Unfortunate. Let him fish this one out here. Luckily, Toka by himself is really easy to deal with. You just have to dash from side to side. What he was hoping for was if Toka hops down, you can special him immediately and then dash to the right, and he catches Toka as he's flying to that side, and Razar at the same time, and then you just loop the rest the same way. So because it's a Konami beat 'em up, here we have an elevator. You gotta have an auto scroller somewhere. Flying kicks ahoy. Nice little use of shoulder there. Essentially, this is just a standard fixed elevator that you see in a lot of these types of games. Every floor you get to is going to have the same set of enemies every single time, so there's really no RNG to it. Make sure you can take them out as quickly as you can. The last floor in particular is interesting because the enemies don't come out of a door. They pop out of the floor. Like, they do like this weird teleport move directly out of the floor. Taking care of them quickly can be a challenge, but it's important to make sure you can fight these guys on hard difficulty for the fight that's coming up here. What they do is they have an arm guard that acts as a shield, and the only attacks you can hit them with are your special, which costs you health, or the shoulder tackle, which is exactly what you want to be doing. So here we have a Mode 7 boss. This is Shredder. First time we'll be seeing him this game. How you have to actually fight him is very unique in this game. You have to fight, essentially tangle with these soldiers who have these arm guards, as I mentioned before. And the only way you can get him in hit stun is to throw out the shoulder tackle. By doing that, it allows us to do a screen throw, and that's how we do our damage. It takes 3 throws apiece to take down each health bar that he has, so a grand total of 9. And sometimes just hits don't come out, and you actually just get a kick instead. But good fight there. Now we get our plot of the game where Shredder gets away, because he always does. Going to show the Turtles this clip of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and make them do the time warp. So essentially the story at this point is Shredder is just super upset at the Turtles like he always is, and somehow he discovered the technology to be able to send the Turtles back in time, and to his desire, hopefully never interact with them again, so he can carry out his nefarious schemes in the city of New York. First stage of the time warp is Prehistoric Turtlesaurus. This, in my opinion, is maybe not the hardest stage in the game, but from a speedrun standpoint, I think it's probably the most frustrating. There's just a lot in this stage that needs to go correctly. There's even some really cool strats that I'm not sure we're going to see Khanster do here, like things like Dino Skip. There's a way you can skip the last dinosaur from dropping a rock on you. But you have to kill these enemies really, really quickly. Cool, hit him from the reverse side. That was clutch. And no Dino Skip, no big deal. Everything pre-cave is generally pretty simple. But once we actually get to the cave, then things are going to get a lot trickier. First reason being, we're getting introduced to a new enemy, the Stone Warriors. These guys actually have a really simple kill pattern as long as you can group them together. It's when they get apart from you and they can actually start hitting you that things can get really out of control, because their attacks do a really good amount of damage, especially to Raph. The big issue with Raph is, despite the fact that he is by far the most powerful character in the game, he does have the lowest health, so he's very much a glass cannon. He takes something like, I want to say 2 to 3 times as much damage as the other Turtles would. I think Mike has the best health, but yeah, Raph just soaks it up. Snag the pizza power to run out of the cave. Maintain a couple of enemies. It's a good idea to use that there, because then you have the guys with the arm guards. And it just plows through their defense, no problem. Quick little obstacle scene with these dinosaurs who all have friendly fire turned on. They can actually take out these foot soldiers as they appear. And I believe their formation is slightly random, but got through them all the same. That was rude. I know he really wanted that slam there, and the game just didn't give it to him. That's a pain sometimes. Nice control there. One of my favorite things in this game is actually in this segment. You see that stone mural on the cliffside there with Shredder's face on it. How that got there, I have no clue. But it's going to take us on to our boss. Now, Slash casually is probably the hardest boss in the game. But once you've learned it, there is a quick kill associated with him that makes him quite a bit easier. It's unfortunate. That quick kill is really, really hard to land at times, because you need to be able to do 5 dashes into shoulder and then kick right away. Good recovery, though. Khanster was able to get a whiff punish there on Slash and finish it off, so very, very good recovery on that quick kill. Optimally, what you want to do is you want to make sure you can land 4 to 5 of those in a row, the shoulder into the kick, and then you dash kick him into the corner, and then you just special him, and he's gone. The damage output is just way too strong. Moving on to our pirate ship stage. Here we have Skull and Crossbones. Maybe my favorite track. I think I already said about Alley Cat Blues, but that applies to this as well. This stage is really cool. Has a lot of really fun, interesting enemy segments, with only, I think, one segment that can potentially be truly run killing, even if you're playing perfectly. And these guys dash up here. You're going to see a lot of just dash kicking that's going to... Oof. Oh, a quick thing about obstacles. Make sure that you don't clash into those floorboards there. They do fly up and hit you in the face. Nice despawn there as well. So here's the random part I was referring to. The cannonballs that the ship from the background shoots on hard difficulty land in random spots. So making sure you can avoid those is crucial. Because if one does hit you and it costs you time because you can't finish off enemies that are surrounding you, then that's a real issue. Because not only do you take a lot of damage from it, but like you lose a lot of time that you just can't get back. Good use of pizza power there. A couple one-hit enemies. Those bow and arrow guys he was fighting take one hit no matter what, just like these bomb guys. Good dodge. Moving on to our couple more enemy sections here. These seashell guys are a terror. Like, I hate them so much. They have really, really good offense overall. They have a straight kick they can do in melee, and then the shell that they toss has a boomerang capability, so they can do send and return. A couple more Stone Warriors. Good stun lock off the screen. Second duo fight. Here we have Bebop and Rocksteady. Cool thing about this fight, you only have to kill one of them, and there is a quick kill associated with it that Khanster is going to go with, focusing on Rocksteady. Perfect. Excellent thing. Excellent stuff there. And when you kill one, they just get in a big fight with each other and take each other out. Weird little cutscene bit, but good fight nonetheless. Warping us on out to the Old West. Or as I call it, the inspiration for Sunset Riders, another Konami title. Bury My Shell is a really neat stage. I love how it looks, first and foremost. Speed-wise, it's primarily just an enemy-heavy stage, but screen scrolling is important, as you saw there with the barrel at the very beginning. You can trigger that barrel right away and take out the first 3 waves of enemies with just that. See some interactive flavor from the foreground there from the guys on the horse. Also going to be seeing a lot of sliding in this stage. This might be the most important stage for the slide. I don't think I talked enough about that move particular earlier. Slide is pretty important to be able to utilize. It doesn't do very good damage compared to something like the flying kick, but it's very important for being able to make sure you can do proper movement, because using slide can help you scroll off a stage. That was unfortunate. Stone Warriors can really get out of hand sometimes. Good job running away from that guy. That's a good despawn. You want to be able to hit that. We're going to see a new foot soldier here. It's the orange enemy who has the whip chain. The only reason they're important is because they have the same amount of health as these orange guys, so they can be taken out by a dash attack just like they can. And this isn't technically the last section of Stone Warriors, but it'll be the last one that's relevant. Take out that guy there. Hit the TNT, kill every enemy on screen. There's where sliding would be coming in, which would have gotten him there a little bit faster, but he still managed to despawn one of the Stone Warriors, and that was great. So for Leatherhead, optimally, you have to make sure your damage output against him is as good as possible. Make sure you get your specials in. And if you can do that properly, then it's only going to be a 4-cycle fight, which is exactly what he's going for right now. Got missed. Only lost a little bit of time getting hit by that lobster, but that still worked out pretty well. Great 4-cycle there. Now we head to the future, which this is going to be the first game I play in 2020, just because the time period of the game means this is where we are. This is Neon. This is next year. This is happening in January apparently. Neon Knight Riders is the second bonus stage, which similarly to Sewer Surfing is going to count down the number of points you earned at the very end of the stage, and not much else. Every enemy dies in one hit, but there's no reason to fight them because losing health at the end of the stage is only going to cost you frames because you have to get more points. Khanster did take a hit there, unfortunately, but that won't be that big of a deal. You can still collect a pizza. It only costs you 1 frame at the end, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Bombs can be kind of tricky to avoid at times. Just proper eye study, and you should be good to go. Now, this is the only segment of the stage that really drives me nuts. You have these electric mousers that can do damage to you. I don't think you can interact with them. No, you can interact with them. You can actually hit them with a special, but not with anything else. But if you hit one with a special, that counts as a kill, and that just adds more points, so there's no reason to do it. And for these helicopters, you can just avoid them free by just chilling out in the bottom pixel. They can't touch you at all. Song bops, too. So good. A short little cutscene here before our boss. Now, for Super Krang, there's a number of different strats that can be done. I want to say the most prominent and most well-known these days in this game for speedrunning is the one where you can utilize 5 specials right away. Because every time you use special with Raph, it drains 3 of your health, and you have 16 max. So that puts you down to 1. Then you immediately let Krang kill you, and then come back and finish him off with the rest of your specials. And here's another one. We have the Fall Slash strat, which is also very good. Essentially what you want to avoid with Krang is having him do missiles like that isn't the worst thing ever. All that does is drain very, very little time as is. Nice use of death abuse there. I like it. But this is what you want to avoid. When he starts to go for the bombs, that's really bad because then he despawns himself and you can't really interact with him and you have to wait till he comes back. And his movement is really, it's not only erratic, but it also really doesn't make a lot of sense. When he can just shift in and out of planes like that, sometimes when he does it, he's just invincible because the game says so. So it's generally best to make sure you can't get to a point where that happens, but still a good fight nonetheless. On to our last full stage of the run. Starbase is pretty infamous for a couple of reasons. First reason, it just feels like non-stop chaos most of the time. There's a lot of fixation to the enemies that you fight, but the stage is the longest in the game. So outside of maybe Technodrome, Technodrome and Let's Kick Shell, counting all 3 rooms. I probably didn't check that, but I was thinking more just like the first room. But yeah, you have to fight essentially every enemy group you've ever seen in the game up to this point, and there's just so much that has to be remembered, so much that has to be executed correctly, so much that has to be segmented properly. It's a pretty overwhelming stage. And the second reason is the boss. We'll get to that soon enough. Meantime, we're going to be seeing a lot of slams, a lot of weird spawn points for foot soldiers. Like, you got guys just teleporting out of the woodwork here, like, just like that. Good use of slam technology. This is a really good spot for the slam, because those guys popping out of laundry chutes just get hit all the time. Nice throws. Good use of iframes there. On to everyone's favorite, the frozen food section, as I like to call it. Those blinking blue cursors cause freeze rays to hit you, and they're timed, so you can get away from them, but they can be really annoying when enemies are trying to confront you at the same time. Good use of off-screen there. Awesome work with the off-screen kills there. Despawn past that foot soldier, on to the next segment. I don't know if I've talked about this enough, but one of the more interesting things about this game from a speedrun standpoint is the fact that enemies in this game are segmented, as in if you reach a certain point of the stage or any given stage where a number of enemies are supposed to spawn, if another enemy is outside of that zone and didn't reach you in time, they get despawned, and you see a lot of that in this game. You saw there with just completely despawning of the foot soldier. That was unfortunate. Got anti-air by that bomb. But it's cool, because it's still got enough lives, and we're almost at the end of the game. Good use of despawn there as well. That special actually did not kill that foot soldier, but the fact that it took him off screen into his despawn zone was everything. I got a couple more of these Stone Warriors. So here's our boss. Krang is by far the worst boss of the game in this form. I believe for optimal damage, you can do non-specials and just outright kill him. But it requires really good RNG. First 2 cycles were perfect. Let's see what he gets for the third one. Not quite what you wanted. So for that third cycle, Krang can essentially spawn wherever he wants. He can spawn glow to the ground like he did there for the 4th cycle, so that was excellent. 4 cycles is really, really, really good. 3 cycles is optimal, but it's so uncommon to get the 3-cycle fight with Krang. It's obviously exactly what you want. It's just something you're not going to get to see that often, and it's just a complete dice roll. Still a great fight, though, Khanster. That was awesome. 4 cycles with Krang is just not something you get to see often. On to our final fight with Super Shredder. Time's going to be when Shredder falls over the cliff, and I'll call it. So for Shredder, you only get to see 3 patterns, really. Optimally, what you want to do is, as soon as he comes out of flame formation, you can just rip on him with specials, and it's of no cost to you because you're already invincible, so you're not going to get hit by anything. And pretty typical strat there. Taking the hit is pretty common, and that's going to be time. 23-33, not bad. As I was saying, in regards to taking the damage, you want to make sure you have the specials to be able to hit him out of the shield zone once he loses his iframes. And you can utilize that to clip him as he pops out of that, but if you're out of health, you can't do that. So taking a death to be able to make sure you get that last cycle of hits in, pretty common to see that. Get our cool little ending, got the Statue of Liberty back, and yeah, that was a really, really good run, Khanster, so awesome job. Great job there, especially at the end game. That Starbase was really, really good. The crank fight, I know everybody wants the 3-cycle. Literally everybody wants the 3-cycle, and it's so uncommon. So to get the 4-cycle,
Awesome
like you
job
can't
on
be unhappy about that.
Awesome job on commentary.
Thank you. Did what I could.
Thank you very much for another excellent run, Khanster. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time Hard Mode.